Podcasting from the Lone Star State in Southern California, you're listening to the Coma Podcast with Cody and Matt.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the live show. We're back here again this Friday, so we thank you all for joining us. If you're watching this as a replay or listening to the audio version, hi. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Matt, how are you? It's Friday. You're surviving at least. Getting rest.
Yeah, I'm getting rest. So we weren't here. I wasn't here last week. So the reason I wasn't here last week was because, I'll say our class averages on tests are between usually 75 and 80. 75 is passing. We have 3 tests and a final that determine 95% of your grade. The other 5% is classwork. So our very first test back, I'm not going to go into the details of what the test is, but it's just so the average test score in my class was 66, and the average test score for the other class, there's my class is divided into 2 groups of 38 and 37. The other class was 59, mine was 66. And mine was only higher because one person scored really high. Everybody else failed brutally.
Yeah.
You cannot fail a test super brutally or you cannot recover. You just can't. There's just not enough room. Now, the group that was in my shoes last semester, there's 4 levels of students. The 4th level is the 4th semester. That's when you graduate. So the ones that are level 3 now, that were level 2 last semester, the same thing happened to them. Only 5 of them passed. And it went all the way to the chain of command because if all your students fail viciously, there's a problem, right? Well, last week, they pretty much told us you need to study harder. And all of us sitting in there are all AB students that work our asses off. And we were on Zoom the first 3 weeks, no direction. Everything has been chaos. And we got told it was our fault. And it was ugly. And I scored pretty bad. I got a 52, which is just like 25 points lower than my class average, which would pretty much effectively end my semester. I would still have to finish my semester, but I would likely have to repeat this course. This course is a 5 credit hour class. It's attached to my clinical class, which is 3 credit hours. So it doesn't matter if I pass clinicals or not. If I don't get a 75 in this course, I automatically have to repeat both. That's a waste of 4 months. Plus, I have to pay for it all over again. Which is like $3,000. So, and I wasn't the only one in this situation. This is not the first time something chaotic has happened. So a lot of hell was raised, and we did a lot of complaining, and as a group, most of us, and they said, okay, we'll give you a quiz that for 20 points. So every point you get can help you. It can't hurt you, but every point can help you. So I was like, fine, if I can get at least 10 points back, I can survive this. And they had gone through and gave us back one question that they said wasn't a good question. They tossed it. Pretty much everybody missed it. So all like 75 of us missed one question. And I'm still going to email the higher-ups and let them know this happened again, because apparently this has been kept very hush-hush, and the higher-ups and deans aren't aware that this just happened. It's been kept way, way down. There's 16 teachers for our entire program, for all 400 of us in the whole nursing program, because they cannot keep teachers right now. And it's super ugly. And so that's where I was last week. I was super depressed and considering walking away because why not? I mean, I'm going into something getting paid less than what I was making at my old career. And nursing school is kind of like you see a building on fire and you're running towards the building, and the school, not the instructors necessarily, but like the administration is standing there with a fire hose spraying you. And it's so frustrating. They treat you so bad. You know, when you're going through orientation at the beginning, they're all like, it's a calling. And now I am old enough and have been through enough job interviews to know what that shit is. But about a month into it, that conversation stopped. And it's just been nothing but pretty much abuse since. It's a very shitty thing. And this is not alone. I'm not alone here. This is a normal, you know, everybody's like, oh, just put your head down and try to survive it. Well, if last semester, only 5 students would have passed. When the deans got a hold of it, once it got up to that high, they went through, basically everybody got curved up to a minimum of 75.
Oh, wow.
They had students scoring 30s and 40s. Like, and
That's
if you're still
crazy.
in the program, you are not a 30%, 40% test taking student. You may not be the best at it, but you're doing good. You're passing. You're getting it. You're moving forward. You've been through clinicals. I mean, even now, I probably have 100 to 200 hours of lab clinical and skills experience, plus all the hours I spend at school. So for 5, they told us that my classes are Wednesday, Thursdays, and Friday night they send an email with no explanation. It just pops up as an announcement within the class, and somebody spotted it and shared it with us within our group me that we keep running for the cohort, telling us that we have from Friday night to Wednesday morning to study for a random 20-question quiz. No study, no direction, no anything. It can be over
just as a quiz.
Lecture. Just it's a quiz. Now, so I put aside, I did the graded work I had to do, like for the weekend, but I was pretty much already done because I always work ahead on that stuff. All my stuff due Friday and Sunday. For this week, I didn't start until Tuesday night and Wednesday until I just couldn't look at the information anymore. And I managed to get back 14 points out of 20. So I'm still going to contest what's happening because it's just really fucking shitty. But it made a really rough week, and I really sat there contemplating what was I going to do. And if I didn't gain enough points back, because it could be anywhere in the lecture, so I picked one section that covers, I felt, probably the bulk of what we were studying, and that's where I was all last week. I don't think I responded to it. I responded to you, but like I didn't ask any questions. I just couldn't because I was so burned at both ends, as were many of my classmates. We're all just kind of trying to gently encourage each other through. One girl literally walked in the next day and said, "I'm tired of the chaos," and dropped her classes. This has to survive. The first semester is supposed to be in our program the hardest. Yeah. So, did I freeze, by the way?
No, you're still good.
Okay. Both of my views are frozen, so just let me know if it freezes.
Okay.
So that's what was going on, and that's why I have not been even part of this world. So I literally would drive to school, work all day. If it was an off day from class, go drive from school to the gym, work out for an hour, and try to decompress and disconnect from school. Come home because David works all day, and then he has school after. So he's trying to do his lectures. So I try to give him that time to do his lectures while I'm at the gym, and then I come home and he's finishing up, and try to spend some time. And Luna was sick for 2 straight weeks. Just vomit everywhere, just solid vomit. We just tried to get her into the vet, which of course cleared up as soon as we tried to get her to the vet.
Of course.
Because this is something she's done before. This is something that seems to be like a chronic thing. This time was particularly scary because it was literally everywhere. Like we just could not get a handle on it. And so I would be sitting here reading, hear it, and I mean, I tackled her off of David's hoodie one night. Like I leaped off the couch straight into her. Waking up at 2 a.m., her climbing onto David's chest, trying to throw up, like everywhere. And none of us could just have a second. So David, Keith, and I all for like 2 weeks, this is all we dealt with.
My goodness.
So Luna, we had to finally start having her sleep in our bathroom at night so we could keep a closer eye on her. And she refuses to eat when she's in there because she gets depressed. So we let her out and she started eating, which immediately started throwing up. And then we think she's got really bad hairballs that she gets. So she's going to be going to a special Luna diet. So this was all happening at the same time. At the same time. And I just couldn't even like speak because everywhere I turned around, if it wasn't like a pile of shit at school, it was a pile of vomit somewhere that I didn't find. I'm like, and we have a 2-story house, so I'm running up and down the stairs, and David's trying to work, Keith's trying to work, and I'm trying to be quiet. And I was home one whole day in the last 2.5 weeks, and that was last Sunday. because I have clinicals all day Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
David has lab on Saturdays in the morning for a few hours, but his clinical day is Sunday, thankfully. So he has the Saturday afternoon without me, and I have Sundays without him. So Sunday, I literally spent the whole day organizing the house, putting everything away. We gave up on trying to have just a tree, not like a Christmas tree, but like a general tree, because we couldn't keep the cats out of it. And so between Kitty, Ava, and Luna, I'm like, cannot have any. Like
they were like, no time for you.
We were just so tired. And even tonight, I was trying to submit paperwork because the hospitals are now starting to officially require COVID vaccinations for everybody from top to bottom, including nursing students. Well, for us the hospital system I'm doing my clinicals at has a special login system for their employees, but they also allow the students to use it. So we have to get a special ID. We get that ID and get put in there. And then we have to upload our decision whether we're going to get vaccinated or not. And if we are, we have to show the proof of it, put in all the details of it. And, pharmacist writing, which is on my COVID vaccination card, I had to translate that to get that into the system, one bit of information at a time. And most of it I can't read because it's, was scribbled at the speed of light because they were doing like 100 vaccinations a day. Yeah. So it was like, I've never been so happy. Nursing.
It's just been hitting you. Everything.
Yeah, so it's just been kicking me. And so I literally sat here deciding, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not sure. Because nothing about it is fun. Nothing about it brings me the knowledge brings me joy. But nothing about the staff, nothing about my administration, my cohort, some of my cohort, and the knowledge that I'm going to be able to actually help is the only thing kind of like dragging me forward. That's it. That's it. It's literally an awful experience. I mean, it's a terrible experience, and I knew it was going to be. But
sounds like worse than you could imagine.
Oh no, it was this is what I expected.
Oh,
I've
really?
been to like 8 schools. All schools treat students like shit. They do. They don't care. Once the tuition's paid, could not be bothered with you any less. Yes, they do have a lot of them have resources for students, but there is just like they are fucking lawless with how they can act towards you. Yeah. I went to we have a nursing lab where you can go practice skills and ask questions, just like kind of tutoring. I went in Tuesday or Wednesday and I said, hey, we have this quiz coming up on this section for our group. What tips and tricks when you teach this? What do you teach your students to like help them learn this? Maybe some like common pitfalls, I thought that was a pretty simple question. So she asked why I was asking that. So I told her, and she goes, you just seem kind of worked up, and I think you should just kind of move on from that bad grade. So I said, this is why nobody at this school feels supported in this whole damn building. And I said, this is why our pass rate is 18%. Yeah. And I said, my blood pressure is not worked up. You're just not answering a question. I said, I still have said quiz in 2 days. Getting over it means I won't pay attention or prep for my quiz. What would you have me do? She was like, I guess, what questions specifically are you trying to ask? She wanted me to ask her like if this person has this kind of symptom, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, that's not my question. Like, clearly this is the information as a whole. She's a freaking instructor in our program. She has taught this subject. The subject that I'm tested on, it's taught in every level. You review it every semester, and you just go into more detail each time. You further your knowledge. So it's just, you get that kind of attitude and pushback. One girl went to our actual coordinator for our whole level, and she goes, I think you should just study more. And it's just like, what? Yeah, it's shitty. It's really shitty. And they have the upper hand because we walk out, they'll bring in they just brought in 120 students. But you know what? They can't get enough teachers. They're 6 teachers short in general right now, just at my school. That's just here because they can't pay them. They won't pay them enough because you can guess that our highly paid upper level administration sure isn't taking a pay cut to get the instructors in. The dean that actually oversees my program and 6 others,
Yeah.
He has a business degree. He's never worked in nursing or medical, anything in his entire life.
He just
so helpful.
Taking that paycheck.
Right. And super nice guy, but what are you doing here? Why are you in charge?
Yeah, that is weird.
That's where I've been.
It's like that everywhere.
Yes, this is a normal experience. And this is why I missed a lot of the lives during last semester, was because, when you're frustrated, you don't want to project that out. But I do think it's important to see that this is not roses and sunshine. And don't tell me, oh, you're going to push through it and be fine, because I really might not be. Last week, had they opted to just shut down and say, you know what, no, that would have been the end. That was the absolute end of my nursing career right there, like for the whole semester. If I want to repeat, I would have to apply to repeat, hope they accept it, and then I would come back in fall. And I would still have to finish this semester to be slapped in the face and then come back in fall, which would put me behind almost an entire year.
Yeah.
Super helpful, right? So that is, I think it's really important that people, like, the only people that tell me I'm doing a good thing are people who aren't nurses. By the way, I just want to clarify that. Nobody in like nursing, other than it's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna love your freedom and the options you have once you get the experience. Outside of like the very basics, everybody else is like, So that's where I was last week, and that's what's been going on. That has dominated my life, because obviously we sacrificed a lot to make this happen for me. And had only like 10 of us failed, you know what? I'll eat it, because that's clearly all me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get the lowest score by a lot,
Yeah, to have like the majority of everybody not do
when
well,
your class
it's
average
like
is 59 to 65.
There's something wrong.
Our class averages are usually 75 to 80. I've tested with these people. So we walked into the computer lab to take our other class had a test yesterday morning. So we all walk in, go to take our test, and like everybody spread out, because we've all sat in pretty much the same seats in this computer lab for now a year. We just go in, we walk in. There's cameras everywhere. It's a computer lab for testing. Our teachers like tell everybody to start. They walk around, answer questions, make sure somebody's computer doesn't freeze. We all start sitting down in our normal stuff. Like, everybody needs to sit one apart. Everybody separate. Nope, everybody has to be one apart. I'm like, if we all cheated, we all did a really bad job, because there's 2 full rooms, and we're all separate. We don't all sit even in the same room. There's rows upon rows of computers. Like, we don't, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like everything. But the one instructor told his class that they didn't study hard enough. They were distracted, and they need to change their study habits. I listened to this man berate 2 of my female colleagues on a Q&A session a few weeks ago. And when one of the guys spoke up and said, "You're being really belittling," he laughed. He goes, so then that's when I got upset. And then I spoke up. I said, okay, so you laughed when he told you you're being a problem, but you didn't say anything about berating 2 of our female colleagues. I said, you are belittling, you are condescending, and you're not helping. How do you think this helps? Because he was saying we were being spoon-fed. I'm like, look, dude, we paid for the bowl and the spoon and the fucking porridge that goes with it. So, it isn't killing you to answer a damn question. They're even trying to eliminate PowerPoints entirely from our program.
Oh my gosh.
That they want us to pretty much come in, teacher talks, and we write. And so apparently 1950 is really making a comeback.
Because it sounds like it. My goodness.
Would you even want to do this? Can you imagine?
Yeah, no.
When we finish this, I'm going to go take a shower and contemplate my life. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. to go to clinical and be there for 12 hours, because I have a clinical from 6:30 a.m. to like 5 p.m. Luckily, my clinical instructor is a godsend. She's been a teacher and instructor and student for like 40 years. All 3 of her daughters are nurses here in the local hospitals, and she still practices. She's an NP like Dr. Jake. So she is very with it. And she does not sugarcoat shit. I don't want to say that she's easy on us by any stretch. Like, she literally kicks our asses. But it's in a way that you continue to learn. You're getting information. You're learning how what you're doing is going to apply to your career, as well as, yes, it applies to school. and school is not the real world, but school is your real world right now while you're trying to, get through it. And that has been, she is the reason like 2 of my classmates haven't quit, because we're broken up in groups of 10. If people don't know, when you're with a clinical instructor, Texas state law, I don't know what the other states say, you're not allowed to have more than 10 students per instructor per day. So even though we're not with her all day, we're assigned to like a nurse to shadow or somebody. She circles around, does rounds with us, makes us demonstrate things. But yeah, it's an experience, and anything can go wrong at any point. All 4 of my patients had COVID last time. I couldn't even go in the room with them because it's such a high risk of spreading it. So many of my classmates have had COVID and come down terribly, terribly sick. If people really saw what happens in the COVID, like for COVID patients, how sick they really are, and my patients aren't even being intubated. There are people that have diabetes and other like normal conditions that happen to people who have caught COVID, and they're extra sick. They're just, they're so sick. And I want to care for them. I want to help them, but I can't even go in the room. And all of them have dedicated equipment. Like I can't even go with my own stethoscope. I have to use what's in the room.
What's in their room?
They have to have dedicated equipment, so I can't even have my own stuff. And you have to be fully dressed in PPE. And then when you come out, you have to fully strip down and change again to go to the next room. And getting anything done is hard. It's really hard. And the nurses and the staff, the PCAs, the techs, everybody, they are like superheroes just with their patients, but yeah, they are super behind. One of the hospital systems here put it in the news that they could easily hire another 250 nurses right now. Yeah, like that's just here, just that hospital system, just here in just San Antonio. And that's not every other hospital system that's already here. Rehab centers, wound care clinics, community health. And a lot of people don't realize that when home health is done, a CNA does a lot of like a tech. They come in and will help with some of the basics, but it's the nurse that has to come through and will show the people how to clean wounds and give injections and take care of themselves or that family member. And like all these places are just so short. They just can't get us trained fast enough, but they keep kneecapping us.
I was going to say, it's like there's a need for nurses. There's a lot of nurses retiring because of everything that went on with COVID and the lack of hospital systems supporting nurses. And then you have schools not supporting their nursing students. No one wants to support nurses. They are making a ton
of money off of us, though. I can tell you that.
But, everything. The school's making a ton of money off of you, and then the hospital system's making a ton of money and not giving. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if I brought it up the other day, but there was a hospital system out here in California who gave all of their nurses. I don't know if it was Nurse Appreciation Day or week, or I don't know, or if they're just were doing a thing. They gave all of them a rock with like a little something attached to it, like a paper or something, saying, "You're the rock that keeps us going," or something like that.
That is so comically bad.
No, like no raise or anything. What? A rock? Like you shouldn't have even done anything at that point. But I was just like, I could not even believe someone had thought of that and was like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, what a great idea.
In the midst of, shortages of nurses.
My aunt is an MA, a medical assistant. And for medical assistance weeks, because, the nurses, the MAs, the techs, and support housekeeping, they work so hard. My aunt showed me their medical assistant appreciation gifts. It was like some balloons that were up on a desk and a few boxes of like sugar cookies for everybody to just grab. And I'm like, so I think it was administration that did that. So whoever the doctors and nurses were that were on the floor, that's when they saw it, like literally went to the store and were like, oh, and they went and spent their own money and came back and took care of the MAs. And because when I was on the floor last week, 2 weeks ago. I couldn't actually go last week because Friday night my instructor came down sick, so she couldn't take us to clinical. That's it. That's so I had to do an alternate assignment. I promise you, the virtual assignments for a clinical day can be way more difficult than just standing for a few hours. But when I was there 2 weeks ago, it was a patient care tech who showed me how to do so much stuff. Now, irony, when I was waiting to walk onto the floor that morning, a patient care tech was walking in, and it was my former classmate from last semester who failed one of her classes, so she didn't get to keep moving forward. I was assigned to her floor, and it was this student showing me how I'm going to do my job, who wasn't qualified to keep moving forward, showing me how to do the job in the hospital. Slap in the face. Luckily, she and I are good with each other. We're friends, but freaking ouch, to have 4 or 5 of your peers assigned to your floor, and you're showing them how to do the things for their grades that I mean, come on.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that is not the only story. It is just brutal. But I learned more from her in one day, and so David's in nursing school too. They assign them to patient care techs the first few weeks so they can see how to properly bathe, clean, change a patient, and clean them up. And people don't understand how important it is to keep people clean and dry and comfortable. I mean, would you want to, if you can't help it and you pee yourself, wouldn't you want the staff that's being paid to help clean you up? So David's had to, he's learned how to do all of that, and and how the hospitals do it, how to do it to keep the patient from getting sick and keep them comfortable and as much of their dignity intact as possible. And it's amazing how much these people, even the ones that are the most tired, how much they care about still taking care of the people that they can as best as they can. And I'm so impressed. If I could be 50% of that when I get there, I will consider myself fortunate. And to see them be treated so badly at that level, and then to be at this level getting that same treatment from here and going, wow. When a teacher said something about changes, I said, look, you told us to be the change we want to see, so I'm telling you that you're wrong. What are you going to do? I mean, really, what are you going to do? You're not taking me out of the program. You can't. I would have to set something on fire to be tossed out,
Yeah.
I would never do anything like that, but it's been an experience, and that's what's dominated my life. My backpack is over there. I'm actually going to have to replace it soon because it's finally tearing. My backpack from 9th grade is finally.
Oh no.
It's just not going to make it. Yeah. It's finally.
I love that you still have it though. Wow.
Yeah, my grandma, if she still talked to me, would be super impressed because I insisted I wanted this backpack so bad. I got one. It was in black, and the strap ripped 3 weeks later. I went back to the store with my grandmother. She was super mad, but they're like, "Oh, well, it has a lifetime guarantee, so we'll give him another one for free." And then my grandmother was like, "Okay, all right." So then I picked out. I wanted another one in black. They didn't have it because it was still in back to school in 2000. Would have been 2000. And I got this blue one, and that would have been now in this fall would be 22 years. In August of 22, it would be 22 years since I got it. Yeah.
Wait, that's all.
People in my nursing cohort younger than my backpack.
I can't. Don't do numbers on age.
I've had my backpack longer than I have had family members that talk to me.
That is so weird. This is weird.
My backpack might be my most stable long-term relationship.
Oh my goodness. In a future episode, we're going to be talking about of the podcast itself. We're going to be talking about nostalgia and going back to when we were younger and stuff. But you bringing this up just now, it's like, oh my God, this is weird talk. It's going to be weird talk then of talking about, oh yeah, that was 30, 25 years ago. Ew, stop. Stop.
I know what you mean. I have a few things that are still. I have a few things from that era. On my Twitter, one of my friends from high school, he has since found me on Twitter, And well, I think he found me on Twitter, or I found him, and it was just so wild to reconnect. And it's like no time passed at all. It had been probably 10 plus years since we spoke, but since then, I've kind of more found my voice, more settled into myself, more comfortable with myself, and he's doing great, and he's also happily married. So it's just so cool to see all of that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the nostalgia episode because I'm curious to see what you come up with, but I'm also like depressed to think about it.
I was starting to like line it up, so I was going to outline it because I feel like we're going to have some kind of outline for this because we could just go on, and it would just be like all over the place.
Well, my backpack is probably, let's see, my backpack and in a broken chain. It's broken now, but it's similar to this one that my grandmother got me for Christmas. But I mean, I had an N64. I got one as a surprise. It was a huge surprise. My grandmother said she looked for it for months, and they saved for it for literally 6 months before they bought it for me. And I had it from 1996, I think, was the year for Christmas you could buy them. It was only able to get it with one controller and one game because they were just hard to find. And I had it until I think 2017, 2018 when it finally failed. And it was a hard day. I was really depressed because it meant a lot to me. My grandmother got it for me, and I always have taken care of my stuff, which is why they got me some of the things that they told me, even though we had no money. They said they would save and get me certain things because they're like, we feel like you're going to have it for 30 years. And they were joking, but little did they know.
Actually,
my PS2
I still
was
have
used actually in 10th grade. I got that in 10th grade. It was used, and it still worked when I finally sold it. I think, let me ask David. Do you remember, was it last year we got rid of the PS2, the PS3? Was it 2 years? A couple years ago now. So it was maybe 2-3 years ago. We just got rid of that PS2. That thing was used in 2002. And I had one of the ones that broke. Like the first gen of, it was the second generation, because they sent out new ones that didn't break. I had one of those that were supposed to break, and I was fortunate, never did. I had my original controllers and everything, original cables.
I do have a Nintendo 64.
Does it still work?
It does. So when you visit, we can play. Obviously. Well, I mean, I'm sure we have people on here who's like, what is that? But it's an epic game system. And I played GoldenEye. That was one of my big games that I loved. And Cruisin' World, which was a race car drive.
Yeah,
and
I had both of those games.
I have a Winter Olympic one, the Nagano.
The Nagano 98?
Winter. Yep.
Yes, that was my favorite. Oh my gosh. I like the Nagano 98 Olympics, and also it was the 98 Goodwill Games, because that's when Dominique Moceanu won. She won the games, and it looked like she was on the road to a great comeback. There we go.
Yeah, I have all of that.
Yes, I had all those games. Like, I love
sitting in the closet. You have to have like special connectors now to connect it to TVs, since it's like, well, I think you kind of did back then too.
Yeah.
I actually was, I don't know, I came across something in like kind of outlining things, but someone had posted something, and I actually did not remember this, but then when they said it and I saw it on those lists, I was like, oh my God, that is so true. And that is so weird. But there was a point in time where people didn't have VCRs. So you would rent VCRs like at the grocery store.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh my God.
Like
and you could actually rent them from Blockbuster, I think.
Yes.
You could get them.
And there was a lot of them. Like that was a normal thing to do because people didn't have VCRs. They were very expensive, or people couldn't afford them.
I remember us renting VCRs, and I remember my mom finally getting one for Christmas, and she was just... So my mom's favorite movies were 1, Dirty Dancing, and 2, Twister.
Okay.
And Grease. And Grease, by the way. She didn't like Grease 2, but I like Grease 2. I don't care what anyone said. Maxwell Caulfield was one of my like gay awakenings. I just didn't even know it yet. But we watched, oh gosh, I think that and Twister must have been worn out. Like just worn out. And then I got my first DVD player in 10th grade. That and the PS2 I think were... Oh, the PS2 might have been a birthday gift. But Christmas, I either got the DVD player for Christmas or a birthday, and I remember it being like that. My grandparents said it was like $250. That was like the only thing I got that year, like whatever it was. Like they kind of moved into getting me one or two bigger things, and then we were done. And then the rest was maybe like accessories for that thing. And it was always a game system or a DVD player or something like that, and movies to go with it. But I remember that being, excuse me, oh my gosh. I had that DVD player for forever. That one the DVD player it was an off-brand one, and it was still several $100s. Jay says, holy crap, the memories y'all are giving me my brother's PS2 second gen. I believe the slim one and his Nintendo 64. Yeah, the second gen was a slim one, and I didn't have that one. I had the boxier one. And it still worked because you could put CDs in it. Do you remember that, Cody? You could like play music. And it was like,
I remember
you could just put a CD in and like play through it.
I remember when DVDs became like a thing, and
but they've always been DVDs have still always been expensive.
Yeah, and so I remember I got like a boombox, and then my first CD was the Grease soundtrack. That was my first CD ever. And but I remember that I was just so like amazed, like how is this working? Like I just the how-to of how this works just was like amazing at the time. It was like, and then now like you think of how all these crazy things that we have are like what we're doing now. Like it's just like a simple click this, click that, and then we're able to talk to each other in real time from different locations. Like back then that would only be like a dream that could even what we're doing now could even happen. But yeah, I remember the CD like wow, this is amazing. And then also I remember on the CD Walkman that you could have for
you
some
remember
reason.
It said anti-skip? The anti-skip that never worked.
And it always had like bass boost, but it didn't do anything.
I know, like, was this for fucking fun? Wait, you assholes. My very first one was like this off-brand, like $15 one. But my mom could always get it to work. So when I was visiting my parents, my mom liked my seat. It was silver, but it had like an alternate cover that it came with, so you could change it. And my mom liked it so much, and the thing always worked for her. So I'm like, here, just take it. So I just gave it to my mom. And then I got myself I got a gift card to Best Buy for like $50, and I bought myself a blue the disc. It was the Walkman, but like, for disc CD. And it was blue because that's my signature color. And yeah, that was and I got that. Oh, and I got the Lord of the Rings DVD. It had finally come out. I was so excited to finally get to sit and watch it, not in a theater, in peace, in my room, on my DVD player, and it was fucking corrupted. And my grandpa lived really far from Best Buy, so it never got replaced.
Do you remember? I'm gonna pull it up. Gosh. I was all about technology, and so like at a certain point, so I never had like a VHS. I never had a cassette Walkman. I only had the DVD Discman, and then
I never had the cassette one either. I remember them being for sale as a kid though.
Yeah, I kind of want one now. They're kind of back in. Like if you go to Urban Outfitters, like they're selling them, but there's like $80. But even VCRs now are like $100. Like if you want to actually get a VCR for some reason, they're like expensive now. But they're like $60, $70 at Urban Outfitters, and you can like have all the CDs. I did find the other day my NSYNC CD or
nice.
Not CD, cassette tape.
What?
That I had because I was playing that before DVDs. I don't know why. I guess they didn't have DVDs for that. Let's see.
Do you remember I do remember the first CD. I got a third one, but I can't remember what it was. But I remember the first two CDs I got.
But after I got the Discman, I got this. Not very many people have it. I still have it. And I need to get it to work. I don't know why I haven't tried to work it. I got it when I was back in Texas. I had it when I was going through my storage building, and I found it. And I don't know what's on it because it's only one disc. It wasn't like it it wasn't like artists released things on it, but there was these Sony mini discs. And like, I guess you could like record on them.
Yes,
like on these little, let's see. I don't know if they have it. Oh, this. You could record on the disc. I don't know what you would record on it though. It's kind of actually a weird thing that I'm thinking about it, because like, what was on this? What, you just recording? I guess you could record your own like mixtape. I don't know. So this is going to be interesting when I actually get it all like turned back on and listen to what I recorded. I guess it's going to just be talking.
I can't wait.
I also have a lot.
Is it going to be like this super angsty, I'm going to be alone forever?
I feel like I do have videos of that saved on my computer somewhere. I'll have to look and see. Actually, that's one of the things my parents is going to bring when they visit, is my first computer, like a tower computer. And I'm going to have to go through it and just see what's on it. I think I mostly put everything on hard drives, but I want to see, because I'm sure there's going to be something interesting. But I wouldn't have any videos like that. That would be on my laptop, because I didn't have a web camera. So I didn't have that until the laptop. But I think I do have videos like that. But I even have like cassette tapes of me talking, because I used to have one of those, what are those called?
You guys are Home Alone influencer kit.
It was like in a Home Alone, and he recorded on the little
it looked like a little, almost like a mouthpiece. Like you talked down into it. What was that?
Goodness.
For the record, my very first 2 CDs, since you embarrassed yourself, I'll go ahead and tell you. One was the Blink-182 Enema of the State, and the other one was the Baby One More Time CD.
Those are good ones. Those are good ones.
Yeah, if that doesn't explain like the two halves of my personalities right there. Yeah, that's exactly.
So I have this somewhere, and I'm sure it still works. It was the Talkboy, Deluxe Talkboy. You could record, you could play, you could slow things down. Yes, Joseph. So I gotta find mine, because I'm sure I recorded a lot of stuff that was just ridiculous. That I can't
talking about all your angst, teenage angst, so fun.
Goodness, in the box, $429.
Oh my god!
And it still has that Walmart tag, the green Walmart tags from back in the day.
I remember. I actually remember walking through Walmart with my grandmother once, and right outside the electronics section, they used to just have racks of like video games and stuff, and it was kind of like the clearance of when they were selling off the NES games, like the cartridges, like the big gray cartridges. They just had them for sale. They were all like $5 or $10, and my grandma was like, "Hey, do you want anything here?" Like, I think we grabbed 2 or 3 of them. And then one time she was walking out of there, and they were selling all like the old computer discs. I think on everything was on like the little 3.5s. And she's like, "I just grabbed like 20 of them. I don't know if they're crap or not, but we should try them." This is like my grandma and I had a lot of fun when I was younger.
I think I mentioned it before. I used to have Civilization on little discs.
I'm trying to picture you gaming. It just doesn't.
So I didn't game a lot, but that was. And then if you go back further, we'll have to talk more about this in that episode. But the big floppy disks that were 6 inches, and I played like Carmen Sandiego, and I can't remember some others on that. But here's the deal: it's so crazy to think that like. Just on my watch, the amount of like space on this watch is way more than those discs ever could hold.
Like all combined, by the way. All combined.
Do what?
All combined.
Yes.
I'm just trying to picture. Can you guys picture Cody gaming at like, 20, like sitting there doing the college boy thing, Mountain Dew stains on his legs, Cheeto dust on his boobs, and like.
Oh my god, that sounds.
Up and like back to gaming. Are you guys picture it?
Sounds amazing.
Right?
The only thing is, I would do it now. But I wished that they still, because I like Mountain Dew okay-ish, but I prefer Baja Blast. And since you can only get it at Taco Bell now, which is fine, but I would always buy it in cans, and that's like the only thing I would drink. And I loved it. And I'm so mad and annoyed that they like got rid of it, and then now have these stupid flavors. Like no one drinks those flavors. There's like several different flavors now, and it's like, what are you doing?
Do you have some feeling? Cody, do you want to talk more about this? I feel
like watermelon lemonade, I think right now is the newest one. Like, why?
I think we've hit a nerve. Cody, do you want to talk about this? Do you need some share time?
Bring back my Baja Blast. They are bringing back the Mexican pizza. I think I mentioned that last week.
Was that because of Dolly Parton?
I think so. And here's the deal. They said at the time that they got rid of it. One, because of COVID and everything was slowing down, and packaging. It had its own specific packaging. Because if you think of Taco Bell, they all use basically that paper that they roll all the burritos in, and that's it. So the pizza was its own separate packaging that they had to get and store and everything else. Kind of makes sense. But now they're going to be coming out with it, and it's going to have like some kind of like compostable
gotcha,
container. So that was one of the big things. They wanted it to be more green if they did bring it back. So they're going to be bringing it back. And I think there's going to be actually stuff they're going to be adding onto it. You'll be able to like spice it up and make it a little bit more
I'm so excited. Joseph said Baja Blast came in cans. Yes, it did.
Oh my God, yes.
Cody's like obsession. You know, I did not know that about you. I did not know you had an obsession. I knew you liked Mountain Dew. I did not know you had a borderline clinical obsession with Mountain Dew. With Baja Blast, sorry.
Baja Blast.
In high school, I loved Code Red. I don't know why. I love Code Red so much. Code Red and a KFC Twister, which they don't even sell in the States anymore.
Yeah, what is that?
Sorry, David walked by and I slapped his butt. He has noise-canceling headphones on, so when he turned around, he looked a little surprised.
I mean, if you see the butt, you have to slap it.
It was almost like it was a giant chicken wrap, but it was wrapped up in a tortilla. It was called a Twister, and I loved getting that and a Code Red on the way home from school on Fridays in high school. And you know, Clint sometimes joins us here. He and I went to high school together, and that was kind of like our Friday thing. We would just kind of, if we took his car, we would sit on the tailgate and just chill and eat, and just kind of decompress from school, because for us, we'd be done with school for the week, but we worked on weekends. We worked nights and weekends, and we had a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know, days off were kind of not really a thing. But yeah, so it was just like this whole thing of like tailgating with a Twister. Now that he lives in Canada, he can get Twisters with poutine because Canada is fancier than us.
Okay, so Mexican pizza, the classic's coming back. They say.
Did they
now
say
we're gonna have to wait. So you're going to wait a little bit, but it's soon-ish. But mid-April is the rumor.
That's an idea for a video where we both go get Mexican pizzas and we eat them on camera. I'm sorry, everybody, but I fucking love Mexican pizzas.
So the classic will obviously be coming back, but then there'll be other incarnations that you can get. Most likely, they say some will include a double cheesy version of the Mexican pizza. Another is going to include spicy chorizo. Another one will include bacon and ranch influences. And there might even be a dessert option coming. So now they're like, we got rid of the Mexican pizza. And then they're like, we're bringing it back. And there's going to be 5 or 6 different versions of it, which I'm all for because all of those sound actually really good. I was always obsessed with the Mexican pizza ever since it was.
I am so excited that there's
Is David?
It was David.
Distracting you?
I'm on live. He didn't mean to. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Huh?
Surprise. I have no
Joseph says, I was won over at double cheese. I know. I actually, they have something out recently. I think it's already gone now, but I got it in steak version. That was so good too. Also in California and somewhere else, they brought back the Choco Taco, the ice cream. So if you're in California and some other state, I don't know at random what state it was, but there's the Choco
Cody,
Taco.
I think it's just a little offensive that you're going to bring up ice cream on basically a gay podcast. You know damn well we're all lactose intolerant, you son of a bitch.
Okay, so I love this this ice cream place. I think it's mostly on the West Coast. It's called Salt and Straw, and they do like very like crazy type flavors of ice cream. They change every month. They have some basic flavors that are always there, but they have like 4 or 5, I think 5 or 6 actually flavors that change each month. So like, Thanksgiving they have some that have like stuffing in it, like and gravy and turkey. And at Halloween they have some that have like pig's blood in it. And then at Christmas, one of my favorites, they had like eggnog, or like this cookie one they had this year was really good. But in January, they had all vegan options for ice cream. So all the new flavors were vegan. So I could have all of them, and they were so good, and I loved them, and I ended up buying a lot of it, and it's in the refrigerator now.
I mean,
I'm obsessed
I'm
with
laughing
it.
because you're just like, ooh, vegan, but you are also technically older than me and look 10 years younger. So,
Well, I
who's
say
really-
vegan to say that there's no milk in it. They use like coconut milk mostly. So that's I don't care about other than that. So it's no actual milk in all their ice cream, but they always do have one flavor each month that's not it's a non-dairy flavor. So I'm always excited to go try it out.
I do
This
love
month,
being able to go somewhere and have like something ice cream like without having to take lactate pills or worry about an adverse effect that like I mean, yes, we all know about the obvious effect, but a lot of people I get headaches. I'll get like joint pain and headache.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I just feel kind of bad.
Like we actually there's two locations, and I've always gone to this one location lately. Like at December I went like several times. I would just drive up there to get ice cream and then drive back home. And it's like a 15-minute 20-minute drive, and I would just go up there to get ice cream and then
For
come
us
back
to go
home.
to Dairy Queen, it's about a 45-minute to an hour adventure, even though it's
Oh,
only about 2 miles
whoa.
away, because of the line at Dairy Queen is
Yeah,
so bad.
Dairy Queen is slow too. I don't know about if yours is.
I mean,
it's not as slow as Whataburger lines. Those are ridiculously slow. But yeah, so the other location, Justin, it was downtown. We would drive down there because I don't really drive downtown because it's parallel parking and I can't parallel park. And so we would go down there to walk, get our 30 minutes of exercise in, but we would be walking while I'm eating my ice cream.
I left school, I went to the gym, came back, and I just don't want. I don't know. I went to Bill Miller's and got a chicken sandwich, and I ate it. And I was like, I don't feel good. And Joseph asked, I feel like we're around the same age. I have just lost my sweet tooth in many ways. Do you still crave sugar the same ways you did in younger times? No, definitely not. There are some things I still like, but definitely, for example, if I could eat 5 of something when I was younger, I want 1 of them now, or not at all, or I'm totally fine without it and I don't think about it. What about you, Cody? And Joseph, I do believe we are all about. I think you and I think you and I are the same age. We're very close.
And I'm younger.
Yeah. Okay.
I when I was younger, I'm trying to think. I don't think I ate like a lot of sweets.
Sweet 16. Come on.
Like I would eat sweets, but I don't remember like eating a ton of sweets actually when I was young. And now, I mean, I don't know. Like I love donuts, so I'm obsessed with donuts. So if anybody's listening been long enough, they know that I'm obsessed with donuts, talk about donuts all the time. Actually, when the COVID vaccines were first beginning, you had to have a certain BMI here in Southern California.
He literally went on a donut diet.
It was a low BMI. It shouldn't even have been a thing. But because I wanted to technically be correct, I was like, okay, let's go eat a lot of donuts. And then I just kept eating donuts. So I love donuts. I've started to love this ice cream because it's obsessive and I can just eat it all the time. And I'll just like sit on the couch or cookie dough. So basically, yes, I do like
dough
sweets.
will take me out.
We have this cookie dough out here.
Reese's, a cheesecake blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
The strawberry cheesecake blizzard. I can eat a large one in about 5 minutes. And it's the worst mistake of my life, but I love how it tastes. But I only do that like once every 6 months. Joseph, 1 Reese's peanut butter egg is enough for me now. Oh yeah, things like that I can only eat like 1 or 2 of because it just makes my teeth hurt. Cody's like, no, I need like 10 of them.
So I think I told Matt about this, or I sent him a picture. One of Justin's coworkers sent him a box of Reese's that are straight from the factory. So you can go to the website, and I would recommend this if you do love Reese's. You can go to the Reese's Hershey website, and you can purchase Reese's, and they'll send them to you basically straight from the factory floor. And they taste so much better because they're like basically super fresh. And they're just so much richer. The peanut butter is more rich, and it hasn't kind of dried out a little bit.
I
The
would be
chocolate is
willing to
just
try
better.
that.
But I could eat a ton of them. But then they've been out. They were out for a while. So then Justin bought me a box off Amazon, which was a whole box of Reese's. And it was like Reese's cups, Reese's wafer sticks, like every basic Reese item you could get was in this box. So I can eat that like crazy. I can eat a whole thing of Oreos. I'll just say I love Oreos. I'm obsessed with Oreos. So I can eat a whole thing of Oreos. So yes, basically, I probably eat more sweets now than I did back then.
Yeah,
And,
now that you're saying this, I'm like,
okay.
I'm trying to reflect on, because we've talked about diet and health and nutrition. Cookie dough CDC. Did you mean like cookie dough ice cream or like cookie dough, like cookie dough?
Cookie dough. So there is a cookie dough out here. I get it at Costco. You can get it. It actually weirdly is made in San Diego. If you go to their website and try to buy like a tub of it, like about this big, they charge you $60. Stupid price. I don't know why. It is vegan, so there's no eggs in it. But the Costco, it's like $6 or $5. It's like super cheap. It's super cheap than anything you can get like at Target. Of those kinds of cookie dough, but I will sit there with the tub then and eating that cookie dough. The good thing about a lot of the cookie doughs now, if you look in the store, is that you can eat them raw. Like they like sterilize the flour, and I don't know what they do with the eggs, but they do. There's certain most of the cookie dough now it says it is safe to eat raw, but this one I'll just eat out of the tub. Like that's the only.
I love how the whole show has gone, like how it transitioned from like, Matt, where the hell have you been for 2.5 weeks? Because I barely have seen Cody, to some nostalgia to food. And
James says that he wants to go get ice cream now. I'm telling you, if you come out to Southern California, or if you go to Disneyland in downtown Disney has Salt and Straw. It's in Washington State, Seattle, Oregon.
It's very West Coast. Wow.
Yeah, very West Coast.
We're still considering the West Coast as a possibility for when we're done with school, like because we graduate next spring, and I don't necessarily love the idea of staying here forever. And Cody's like, yes. And
the West Coast is the best coast. That's what I say.
Yeah. Cody, you're really cocky about that for somebody who can't swim in an era of global warming, but okay, and lives on a West Coast.
Oh my God. I want to, because I want to go surf. I want to surf.
Learn how to swim.
Yes, I know. And then because I want to take you to see the sharks when you visit.
If you think I'm getting in the water, I might be 95% white, but I am not white enough to know that I shouldn't get in the water with sharks. Am I going to get canceled for that one? Was that it? Was that where I'm going to get canceled? Did I just cross the line?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you did.
If you don't listen to us often, there's like kind of like a running joke of which one of us is going to say the weird thing that's going to get us like in big trouble with the internet. Usually it's Cody. And then I'll try to like show up with something and it's like, oh crap, maybe it's me today. There's a little ice cream back in Fresno. I really missed. They were locally sourced. I just realized I was reading to myself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
James, who is reading your comment. Everybody, if you're listening, James says there's a local ice cream place back in Fresno that I really miss. They were locally sourced and their flavors switched every month. Yeah, I love that. Same thing with crumble cookies. I love crumble cookies. Flavors change every week. So that means I have to go every week almost and get new flavors of cookies because you have to, right?
That must be hard for you. And y'all, there are several of y'all that are kind of newer that haven't heard us before. Cody made cookies for me for Christmas. It was Christmas, and sent them to me, and they were sugar-free, and they were delicious. I cannot believe he sent me sugar-free cookies. Cody, you're gonna have to put as a warning before you're gonna put porn on the podcast.
Yeah, so I haven't gone to eat these cookies yet. I don't think I'm going to go this week. I actually did make a copycat version of these cookies, chocolate chip cookies. I am going to send to Matt. I just haven't gotten around to it because our KitchenAid broke when I was around the time I think I was making Matt's cookies, or at Christmas time.
Oh, that's terrible.
KitchenAid broke, or Justin's KitchenAid broke. It was a bigger, more professional one. It has a bigger bowl. And but I still had mine from when I was in Texas, but it's like the basic small one you get like at Target. And when I made this recipe just 2 weeks ago or so to try it out, I didn't like contemplate in my head how much this was going to ultimately end up as far as dough and like flour and stuff. It did not fit in my KitchenAid. It was way too much. The flour was shooting out everywhere. I had to take half of it out and mix half at a time. It was a mess. So I can't make the full batch until we get a new KitchenAid with a bigger bowl.
I'm trying to imagine this happening in your kitchen, how mad you must have been.
It was so frustrating because I thought it was going to be super quick. Justin had went to get burritos, and I was going to make some cookies, and it was an easy recipe.
And then a huge freaking mess.
It was
David
like, no, you're going to have to
teriyaki
split
sauce
this up.
a few years ago and sprayed teriyaki sauce across the whole kitchen, like the cat popped. And it was ceiling, floors, walls, tile. I mean, if you name a spot teriyaki sauce can splatter. It went there. I think a couple years ago, he dropped a bottle of water, like it fell out of a case, and it kind of like turned, so it was capped down and went right through a jar of peanut butter, like shattered the. Oh, David can hear me now. He could hear that. Yeah, I took a video of it because I was so caught off guard. It was a brand new jar of peanut butter and went right through it. So that was the end of the jar of peanut butter. I mean, we were digging plastic out of the peanut butter and was like, we just gave up. But oops, huge mess. I mean, I told David just leave the kitchen. I cleaned up the teriyaki sauce for him. I didn't do it, but I happened to be nearby and I saw it all go to hell and I saw his face and I'm like, I'll get it. You should just go change your shirt and I will take care of this. I found teriyaki sauce for days because he did one of those, like, kind of trying to shake up the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a big guy with big, strong arms. And when he did that, I mean, everywhere. And I don't.
By the way, guys, Matt sent me a photo earlier that was basically like porn. It was his arm.
What? Are you posting it? Oh.
No, just telling him.
Because I've been back at the gym for a couple months now. And Cody's like, how have you been? I'm like, school and gym.
James says, I almost went to Crumble tonight. I drove by one today. Matt, let's go get some.
Yeah, James lives here, and we live in the same city, actually.
So this is Salt and Straw. This is their flavors this month. Roasted strawberry, toasted white chocolate, chocolate caramel potato chip cupcake, chocolate hazelnut cookies and cream, the ultimate French vanilla, and Hunka Chunka PB and B. I got the chocolate hazelnut cookie and cream. It's really, really good.
Oh, I feel left out.
So, everybody.
Cody, I'm so excited. In a year, I'll be able to actually, when I have a big girl job again, I'll be able to actually come visit. Right now, it's like, if you want me to come visit, you're going to have to buy the ticket. Sorry.
When Matt visits, we're going to eat so much.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I want you all to know, again, if you don't know, like, yes, I talk about going to the gym. It's because I have health conditions that make me need to work out to keep them keep me comfortable and at bay. Like I work, and then I try to just put the extra work in because I like eating pizza and Chinese food and sushi and cookies and stuff like that. So I would say I eat moderately healthy, but I definitely am not afraid of a pizza.
Well, and I cannot wait because I've mentioned it every time since we've got it. We have a pizza oven. We've had pizza every week. And it's so good.
He's had pizza more times in a week than I've seen in Kanto.
Still have not seen it.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. No, I've not seen it.
Cody, this is right up your alley. What?
I know, but I have so much stuff that I'm watching that I'm having to get caught up on or that's current, and it's just like there's a lot. There's a lot, and it's on the list. It just hasn't made it to. Also, the Olympics have been going on, so that's been delaying this whole like past 2 weeks. On me watching stuff.
These just sound like excuses, Joseph. Pizza, Chinese, and sushi experiences excitement. Exactly. Also, Joseph is one of my like the very first people I started following and that followed me when I came back to Twitter in 2016. So he's one of my very earliest mutuals on this account, which miraculously have not been suspended. I did get warned a few times, but I haven't been suspended. Yeah.
I'm okay with the pizza and the Chinese or Thai food. We have a really good Thai place that
Cody
we
doesn't
go
like
to.
sushi.
I don't like sushi.
I just
Justin loves sushi. Justin loves sushi. So you and him can go have sushi.
Auditioning for a guest star role. Joseph, we love having people on.
Yes. And James says pizza and Encanto.
Yes, we can do pizza and Encanto. Yeah. I do only tend to eat because again, so I'm lactose. I don't have problems with butter and stuff like that, but milk and ice cream is like cheese and butter and stuff seem not to bother me as much or really at all. Like I can have some cheese pizza, I'm fine, but I don't eat a whole pizza anymore. Not because I can't, but because of the excuse me, but milk and ice cream is a no-no. And
the one thing, our pizzas don't have a lot of cheese either, so it has just it's just like it's perfect. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, and then the thing is, we make too much.
Or what don't you like, Cody, about sushi? James wants to know.
So I don't really like any kind of fish, really, actually.
Even though lots of sushi,
like the smell in itself just makes me feel very sick. Like it's just something.
This is the same man
it.
who wants me to eat ranch, and so I was like, I will come over there and I will try some food, but you have to try some sushi. And
he doesn't like ranch. He doesn't like ranch.
I don't like ranch. That is one food that I think is weird. Do you know, I've always been curious to know if my biological dad like the foods he likes and doesn't like, because we used to joke that I'm like, am I adopted? Because there's things that my stepdad that I thought was my bio dad loves, and I'm like, nope, won't eat it.
Wait, Joseph, you don't like ranch either? Oh my gosh, David.
Reported.
David likes ranch.
David likes yes, my husband likes ranch. I think Keith, my roommate, likes ranch. And y'all, my roommate is Keith, the one with the big arms. Yes, I just reference.
The whole reason I know that Matt didn't like ranch is there was a point in time I saw, like, I think it was probably on Twitter, and it was before like one of the Super Bowls a few years back, and they were giving out Hidden Valley was giving out I don't know, like 100 or 1,000 of these, and they were like mini kegs of a ranch dressing, and it had like a little tap on it, and I was like, oh my god, I want that in my kitchen, just a ranch on tap anytime you want it. And then it got brought up in a podcast, I think, and then that's when it was determined that Matt hates ranch.
And Cody was like, there will not be a season 2.
I said he was gonna like have a shower of ranch or something, a bath in ranch.
But now here we are in season 4. So you guys, usually our lives are somewhat structured in like we have like kind of like free conversation too, because that's what we like. Because this is our rare catch up time too. But we usually have a topic or two that might be a relevant topic, a current topic, a news topic. And tonight we just had things we wanted to talk about. But the podcast has a topic. So we release that on Wednesdays, but the lives tend to be more, we let it just kind of be, if there's stuff we want to talk about, which has been super fun. But Cody, I will try some ranch stuff. I will try some stuff as long as you try some sushi. It does not have to be seafood. It does not have to be fish, because a lot of people do not like, they either react poorly or allergic to or don't like seafood. But if you will try some other sushi that's not seafood, that's not fish, I will concede.
Okay,
I will help you order it. I will not let you order something that's accidentally fish and make yourself feel bad. Because there is a certain smell to them that some people do not like the smell of, and certain fish can be more pungent and even people who like it can find it a little off-putting. So I will try some things that I don't like if you are willing to try some things. If you are willing to step out of your comfort zone for me, I'll wear a Speedo.
Okay.
There.
Okay. Like last weekend, it was like hot here, like super hot. And it was, people were going to the beach. You could tell that everyone was going to the nude beach because the Twitter feed of everyone and Instagram stories of people posting from Black's Beach out here was like crazy. It was hot enough. Everyone was flocking to the beaches to have some fun. I'm going to take Matt there.
Yeah,
and he's gonna. I said he's gonna have his Speedo, but then it's like, well, it is Black's Beach. You don't need a Speedo.
Like, I didn't have an alt for 2 years, and everybody has seen my dick. I've gotten DMs from people who are like, "Does your husband know you post that?" I'm like, very much so. He might have taken the picture.
Oh my God. We'll have to have a. Well, here's the deal. By then, you'll have even bigger muscles, and I won't have any muscles.
Y'all,
Justin has a really nice camera and can take photos.
Don't know what I thought you were going to say, but it wasn't that. It was not that.
Video. Actually, there are some really good photos that I've seen people take at Black's Beach that are not like explicit photos, but they are nude photos. And let me tell you, some of them
Can we get me like a really dramatic wig so that when the wind's blowing, I can have some like dramatic hair and like covering myself like a Venus, you know, like in the clamshell?
I do have wigs. Let's see. Joseph said, and I left beaches of Florida for Chicago in winter. Ooh. Yeah, it's getting cold. I say it's cold out here. It's like 60 degrees, but it's too cold for me. And then Cody, James,
don't block Kai. If you saw him, it's Steven 808 Kai, because I can't see his comments.
Oh, I don't see them either.
Oh my God, that's so funny. He sent me what he's saying, and he was like, "You slut, cheater, man, wow, maybe you're not fully white." Like, oh my God, Steven, shut up.
Yes, James, flexing my twink muscles. There's nothing there. So we do have an episode that we had. It was our love episode for Valentine's Day. Of course, Valentine's Day was this week. I was going to send Matt the Valentine's Day explosion box, but it didn't get done in time again because I didn't have the cookies.
That's what we call the explicit content, by the way.
Again, explosion box. But here's a little bit in case you missed it. If you did miss it, I would suggest watching it on YouTube or listening to it. But here is a little clip of us talking about love and relationships.
Is it us being focused for a second?
Yes. Valentine's Day. It's not just for couples. It can be for unconventional relationships, thruples. All of this, I think, is modern love of what we would say today. You know, some people don't want to be in a relationship. They don't want a sexual relationship. They don't want a romantic relationship, but they want some sort of relationship, and they attach onto that friendship relationship, that close friend relationship. Y'all, I've still not gotten my flowers and chocolate from Matt, by the way.
Yeah, apparently we are celebrating. So Cody's like, we'll talk about this later. Honestly, it's like we joke around. I tell everybody you're my work husband. Justin and David have never been jealous or weird about Cody and I working so closely together because communication, and they're adults, and we're all not insecure children.
I could see some people being jealous of that, being like, well,
I am such a
like
bitch.
If Justin was a jealous person, be like, he sure is spending a lot of time with Matt. They talk all the time.
It's my
because we do text a lot.
Your social support is really important, and it can very much be about quality, not quantity. You know, and having a couple of friends that are just really close with, and you have that connection, that comfort.
You know, as we're talking about unconventional love, it's not just for couples, but there could be an occasional third. How about getting him a nice print of the Eiffel Tower to show him what he brings to the relationship?
I've never been to Paris, but I'd love to take you to the Eiffel Tower, Cody.
I think there is a place for a throuple or more, because just think of all the money coming in. Those bills are going to get paid pretty quickly, and then you have extra money for extracurricular.
Right? Living yourself in your country palace dream, you know.
But yes, everybody, love one another. Get into those unconventional relationships. Don't be shy about them.
I just love it. Oh my god.
Anyway,
so
everybody,
Cody does our editing entirely, and especially since I'm in school, I don't see the preview. So I don't see the final product until it's posted, because there's just not time for me to review it and ask for my opinion. And I trust Cody. So sometimes when I see clips, I'm like, why did that get left in? Not because I think he did a bad job, but because I see myself and I'm going, here it comes. Here it comes. I'm going to, oh man, there I went. That's it. Joseph, I left the beaches of Florida for Chicago in winter. It's true. He moved away from Florida to Chicago, and I'm so sad because I was hoping to catch him when I get to visit Florida and visit family. James, Cody flexing his twink muscles. Cody, you're really fit though. We've all seen you in your underwear. Like, you really are trim, and good for you. I am like, I do not feel that way. I think I might have just burped again. There's very opposite personalities and experiences happening here with our bodies. Cody's
well, everybody,
like, I had vegan ice cream, and I'm like, I'm about to eat some Chinese food.
Well, it's Friday. It's a burrito night, so we're gonna have burritos again. We had nachos on Sunday for Super Bowl, so we actually had like some from the same place 2 times this week. Crazy.
That's what we have to talk about. The Super Bowl. We have to talk about the halftime show.
Okay. Yes. So I love this. I love the halftime show. Maybe we should, in case we cut this out for a little excerpt. So we're going to talk about the Super Bowl real quick. And Matt, did you like it?
I liked it. I just could not believe how much it was. Somebody posted on Twitter that it was like a middle school dance vibes, like the level of energy, at least from watching on TV. Maybe it was different, live or in person. But it was like I was on the bus in 7th grade on the way home and still stuck in the middle of puberty and miserable. When you're like when you're annoyed and singing along to a song that and you're like, but I was just so surprised. Like, I felt like just elderly people said, let's get them youngins involved in sports, and then put something on there that, like, y'all know millennials are like 40 now, right? Like, we are not in college. We're not 20-year-olds. Like, what's going on?
I loved it. Every moment of it. What the general consensus, I think, from online, or like, because it's always one of those things when an artist comes and performs at the Super Bowl, and there's always reviews that come out afterwards like, this, or someone has something. The general consensus, I thought, was, or from reading stuff online, is apparently it is thought of as one of the best Super Bowl performances ever, or in recent years. I think the only one other people have topped it up with was Prince performing, and I vaguely remember that one. I think one thing that kind of didn't help in this situation is most of the time it's dark. And so there's lots of lights and fire and fireworks and pizzazz, which this one didn't have because it was still daylight. So I do think that did play, like, as far as
I can see
like
that.
performance.
There's a different stage. It's a different stage for the show. I mean, I didn't hate it or anything. I mean, and honestly, like, how well preserved everybody's voices are. It was just like, Joseph, the Super Bowl show took me all the way back to when I was in college. All those songs played at the clubs. I felt like pouring my drink on myself just for nostalgia's sake. Totally right there with you. Keith called me. I was in the middle of reading something for school, and he called me and was like, hey, it's on. So I came down and I stood there and watched it. And was like, it felt like it was just leading up to something that, like, might have been like a all of them doing something together at the end.
Well, yeah, I do think that it could have been a little bit longer because each of them did something, and it felt like maybe we needed everybody to do something together to like just kind of like wrap it up.
I mean,
it just kind of ended. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, completely.
That was. I think it was just. I don't know. It just felt like it was missing maybe a more a better ending. But overall, I didn't hate it. It just had a weird energy to it. But that's just me. But I didn't hate it or anything.
I do.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I do though. Like, if you were looking online, anything, there was a obviously not a surprising select group of people who did not like it, thought it was the most vulgar thing that had ever appeared on television.
Okay, Ben Shapiro.
And I'm sure there was stuff said about most of the performers being black, and then why is this on my television? And then Eminem bowing down.
Unfortunately, see that.
Why is he here? Move to a different country. Obviously, you had all that playing up, which I thought was great too, because anytime you can like weirdly frustrate people because of a musical performance like that, it's just amazing because it seems like they have a complete meltdown of life.
Yeah, it's like, wow, are you okay? Like, you seem upset, you know?
Because if like you or me don't like something, we just didn't like it.
Yeah, right. Like, I love it, but like, I still enjoyed it. Like, it was still a fun watch.
To them, it was like
totally fun to like.
What? I'm dying. I would suggest, obviously, Eminem did bow on his knees, obviously, as a show of support and all of that whole thing surrounding the NFL that's been happening for the past few years. But Rudy Giuliani on some podcast or YouTube or some weird channel was talking about Eminem and how he needed to move to a different country and why is he here if he's going to take a knee and whatever, on and on and on and on. Anyway, Stephen Colbert, Late Show, did a funny little segment, and they took bits of Eminem and then they had someone pretend to rap certain things, and then they put it all together with talking about Rudy Giuliani, and it's super, super funny. I was trending today on Twitter, so I'd go check that out because it's really funny.
The idea of Rudy Giuliani telling anybody to move to a different country. Okay, let me re-dye my own hair. You know, like, okay, sure.
James, are we going to get a gay halftime show again next time? Who would be fun to see?
The Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Coldplay show, one of my favorites.
I don't like Bruno Mars.
The old one. One of the other times Mary J. Blige performed she performed with Aerosmith, NSYNC, and Britney Spears, and like this was like the late 90s, early 2000s. And it was a wild ass show. I didn't even know what to think when I saw it. When I eventually saw it online, I think either a year or two later or when I got a little older, and I was like, I was alive during this what? There was so 2000. I know that makes sense to you. It was so 2000. It hurt in a good way. And it was a fun performance. It was fun seeing like all these different styles, like sharing a stage, doing classic songs and just having fun. And then they looked like they were having fun. And that's what I think I liked about this one was that I felt like I liked how the stage it was like one long stage. Everybody kind of had their own space stage and doing their own thing. And that part was nice. It was just kind of wild that you only got kind of like one of their songs, like the whole way through, not a medley, it was just a very different vibe.
I felt like they needed like one or two less individuals, and then they could have had a little more time to maybe like mix some of the, like, I think if it would have been like Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem, and then they could have like at the end kind of mix some of their songs together a little bit.
It just would have been fun. I think. Joseph said, Sarah Madonna, Britney, and Cascada, I would gay die. I would have to be gay dead and gay resurrected all over gay again. You know?
I think if you were going to see anybody, you would see, I think what they're going to go for in future things is more of this same nostalgic situation. I don't think you're going to have, you may occasionally here and there have like a newer artist, but they're really going to still, because they want they want younger people ish or like our age who have kids. They're watching and older people knows who these artists is. That's who they want because they want it to be mass appeal.
Clint, who joins us sometimes, his kids they're both younger than 10, but they're old enough to like know what music is and everything. So he showed them like, Eminem and all of them and all that. And they were not impressed. And he had to explain to them that, yeah, he kind of started becoming popular when I was in like middle school. And they were like, what?
It's interesting. I feel like he should have continued doing movies. I think Cher Cher is a possibility for sure. I don't think Cher and Madonna together because I don't think they like each other. Madonna also, if you look at her Instagram lately, she looks like a weird plastic doll that has no wrinkles, and it's just like very strange. She's also dating like an 18 or 19-year-old. And she's living her best life, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead, Queen. You do your thing.
But she looks very weird.
Bring on Sharon ABBA, Sharon Stevie Nicks, and
okay, yeah. That would be, I could see that one happening if they even are still together because they like breaking up a lot. Sadly, ABBA isn't even getting back together. Really, they have that whole like digital performance that's happening next year, which is going to be a little weird. But I think you might in the future have like an Olivia Rodrigo. I think that she might do a performance. I will tell you, she out here, the symphony shell that we have, and I have sent Matt pictures of it when I went. They had her concert set there. It sold out like in 5 minutes. Olivia Rodrigo?
I barely know who that is. I know who she is. I know like one of her songs.
Girl, she's up and coming.
I know.
Or she's already here.
Like, it's because I'm almost 40. I don't know what things are anymore. Get off my lawn. I'm old and fearful, Cody. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm here to...
Taylor Swift. I would love... Okay, my laptop is about to die. But... yeah, Taylor Swift would kill it, and I would love a Taylor Swift song. All right.
Yep.
Jesus. A Taylor Swift show.
Well, everybody, normally this lasts an hour. We went a little bit longer. We'll be back again, maybe, hopefully, next Friday. Of course, new episode.
Yes, it should be next Friday. I don't have any tests for a couple more weeks, so things should be... I will be able to breathe this coming week and next week. So, yes. And yes, Joseph, we would love to have you on.
Yes.
It would be very fun.
New episode of the podcast coming out on Wednesday, so be sure and check that out. And again, we'll see you next Friday for the show. But for now, everybody, we're going to go ahead and head out. I'm going to go get my burrito and enjoy, I don't know what. It's not going to be Encanto tonight, but that's coming. Anyway, everybody, bye.
Bye.